I love a little controversy. I'm a very like rogue person in life. Even like a 21 or 22-year-old girl, but I need to make a certain amount. And it's like tough shit. I had to work for 3 years, 3 jobs to have what I had now. You're going to have to work for it. Sorry. I was 7 months pregnant, and I decided that if I decide something and I'm all in, right? So I knew that this was going to make it because
didn't have to choose between building a career, having a family, and creating a life that you actually love.
Well, today we're sitting down with Meghan Fialkoff, the COO of Modern Day Wife, a movement redefining what it means to be a woman in today's world.
Trust me, this conversation is going to challenge everything you thought you had to settle for.
Absolutely. Join us now.
Your mission is supporting ambitious women, which is what I love that about Modern Day Wife, right? It's so great. You bring women together, helping them balance it all. And so let's go back to the very beginning, if we can, Meghan.
Yeah.
Ask you, was there a moment where you looked at your life and you were like, I don't want to choose between having a family, having a career, creating a life. I want to have it all. Like, I want a life of fulfillment, of happiness. So what was the spark? What sparked
it's funny you say that. It's funny you say it because I never really had the opportunity to not work. You know what I mean? Like, I'd love to have to not work sometimes,
Yeah.
I just, it's funny. My mom is a stay-at-home mom, and my dad, I didn't even know the word provider. I've learned all these things recently, but my dad was the provider and we lived well and blah, blah, blah. But I remember, looking at her and looking at most of the moms didn't work. And I was very motivated and inspired at a very young age. Like, this is really weird when I look back on it. But at like age 10, I remember VH1 had Madonna's concert with like her John Paul Gaultier corset. Remember that?
Tight ponytail.
Yes. I don't remember. There was a name of that show. I don't know if that tour. I don't know if it was the girly tour. There was some name to it. And they used to play it on VH1. And I got a VHS and I recorded it and I used to watch it. And I was like, that's what I want to do. So I just always wanted to be like doing big things. I wanted to be connected with the movers and shakers on the planet. I wanted to feel like I was doing something on like the world stage. So that was kind of just me. And then my dad, I have 2 brothers, but my brothers didn't go like in his footsteps. And more so, I think in some ways this is bad and in some ways this is good. Like, I had a lot of time to reflect on this, but basically, like, I guess I was my dad's, I don't know what the word is, protege or whatever, where I worked with him. We ran a charity together and he really instilled on me like hard work, like real, like working and hustling and all of that. And so, him and I together both thought really big and didn't believe in red tape and took our charity to massive levels. And so for me, I just always wanted to be doing big things. As things have changed, I think I'm this up. I know this is a really long answer, but as I've actually been running this company and I had a son and I actually learned about sometimes like what could be the roles of a husband and wife and what it could have been like if I didn't have to work the first 5 years of my son's life and all these things, I've reflected on like, wow, how come I ended up being how I am? And would I have done it the same way and so on? So I think the answer to your question is I didn't ever have a moment of like, oh, I want to do it all. I just always had big goals. And then additionally, I didn't have an opportunity when I was married, which I'm not now, to not work. So that's kind of the best answer. I could give a lot more information on that, but that's trying to wrap it up.
No, that's an amazing answer, which brings me to my next question, which is, the name, The Modern Wife, is a very bold name today, it may stop a few, their tracks. But my question is, how do you explain what you guys do to our listeners and what the modern day wife is?
Perfect. By the way, I love a little controversy. I'm a very like rogue person in life. I remember there was this girl in elementary school who had a trampoline in her backyard, and we were all loved playing on the trampoline and having fun. And then we were all like mandated by her that we had to go inside and we're not allowed to go on the trampoline. And I'm like, these were there's moments in your life when you start to be aware of things. I remember being like, why is she so so I like took a group of us and we like went rogue and went on the trampoline. It probably wasn't nice, but like I like to be different from other people. So I don't mind it being controversial because it's like fun, whatever.
No, it's true.
So, okay. So what does it mean? So Modern Day Wife was started in 2019 by our founder, Meghan Fialkoff. And the first two events were co-ed. And she actually came up with the idea because her husband was very ill and she was taking care of him in the hospital. And she was like, how do I balance all of these hats that I have as his partner? They weren't married at the time. And so she wanted to create a community of women who, right now it's very segmented. It's like you're either a stay-at-home mom and you're in like the mommy walk group, or you're in like the CEO and the scaling and the founder group and blah, blah, blah. And it's like it's not real, meaning for me, I'm the CEO of this company and I am very motivated and so on, but like, I want to have a fabulous relationship. I want to be an amazing mom. I want to look great. I want to know where to go to the gym. And so it's more of this idea of women who are aspiring to have these different areas of their life. Some of the women that come to our events are stay-at-home moms. Some of them are founders and CEOs. Some of them are influencers. It really doesn't matter what your viewpoint is, if you're traditional, if you're not traditional, and so on. It's just the concept of recognizing that we all want to do well in different areas of life.
Absolutely.
I love that.
I love that too.
I love that.
And you don't have to be a wife. Like, look, I run this company. I started it married with Meghan, and unfortunately, I'm not anymore. So it is for women who are single and maybe aspiring to have a great relationship. It could be that you're married. It could be that you're widowed or divorced, kids, no kids. It's the whole gamut.
Exactly.
Because I think it's, to your point, it's such a misconception to just say, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I'm just, a founder, or, it's like you could wear different hats and be different things. So I think that women struggle silently with that, or, not silently, I know myself that, I definitely have struggled with that. I'm a mom, I'm a founder, but, do people take me seriously because I don't have the typical 9-to-5 job? People, I'm an inventor, which is, what the hell is what did you invent? It's like, what the hell did you invent? Like, what do you do? So I love that. I think that that really resonates.
Yeah. Well, honestly, going through the experience of having a baby and being a mom to my son, like, I think it would have been great if I could have stayed home the first 5 years. I did stay home, but I worked at the same time, which was impossible, for 13 months. And then he started going to daycare. But I'm just a mom. A mom is a full-time, probably the hardest job of any job. Like, my son challenges me just even this morning. I mean, he's in this whole bug thing where I'm trying to get us out of the house to school. We have to walk the dog, and he tries to lift every rock to find bugs to put in this thing he has.
I miss 5. 5 is so cute.
The little age,
the littles, yeah.
Now I feel bad when you say that, because I got pretty mad at him this morning, because I was like,
oh no, I used to get mad.
30 minutes looking for bugs.
As you're trying to get them going. I'm the same in the morning. I'm like, stop laughing, stop having fun, stop enjoying time together. You need to make this a serious situation. You need to get out. You got to get out. You're gonna have detention. Like, I'm not trying to be, a mean mom. You got to get it going.
Exactly. But this whole hat and like preparing the food and blah, 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 like, personally, I need a wife.
Yeah. Hello. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's not like, I don't think whatever thing that a girl chooses should be judged. If you want to work, you don't want to work. Like it's always, the grass is always greener on the other side too, right? Like,
Yes, always, always. Well, you know what? I mean, I personally have, it's been easier for me like to segment it, so I was like a workaholic for the first 15 years of my marriage, had the kids, build companies, Bella at a real estate company and a mortgage company with my husband. So we were building things. But then at one point I looked at my husband and said, our oldest is going to high school. The kids are like, it's gone too far. I feel like I've missed so much. And I said, do you mind if I sell, take 6 years off, get them all out, and then I'll figure it out? And he said, okay, you could do that. And I'm right at the brink of my last one, leaving for college. So it's a whole new reinvention time. Yeah, reinvention.
Wow. So, that's an amazing story.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. No, it's been fun.
Exciting.
It's been fun. It's been an adventure. I mean, I started Bella out of my living room thinking it was going to be like a local, like NYC magazine. And next thing I know, I'm hosting a party with Paris Hilton. That crazy baby.
Wow.
No, it was fun. It was some good times.
Amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, back to you. This is about you, Meghan.
No, it's great.
No problem.
We have a lot in common. So.
That's right.
I love that. But I mean, you've essentially built this community of women, helping women to feel supported, between their career, relationships, everything in their life. And so I guess my question is, do you feel that a woman can have it all? You think that's like a cliche? You think or do you really think that it's possible?
I do. I think in the different ways that you can do it. So if you are working, and I think, for example, my personal, like the way that I built Modern Day Wife, the first 3 years, I went to bed every night at midnight. I was exhausted. I had a newborn, and it was insane. Like, no one would do this, right? But I knew what it was going to take to build a business from having worked with my dad for so many years. I do know what it takes. So I knew I had to put that much time in every day and work on the weekends and blah, 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 because I wanted to have a situation where I could take my son to school and pick him up.
Yes.
And so the situation I have right now, I did have a boyfriend last year for 6 months. And if it had worked out, which it didn't, I think for me, yes, I would have had it all, because essentially I have my son. Also, I mean, this is very alternative. This isn't to say that this is the organization. This is me personally, Meghan, right? Mm-hmm. It's not Modern Day Wife. It's me. Okay. But I have my son half the week, and I kind of thrive in that, because half the week I get to be a mom. I have stains. Yeah. I'm not wearing makeup today. I get to fully spend my time with him. And then the other half of the week, I'm a woman. I get to date. I get dressed up. I put makeup on, and I'm like I get to wear that hat. And so you were mentioning segmenting before. So I've really thrived in this, because like I work Monday through Friday. I take my son to school. I get to be a great mom. And then I get to have my romantic part of life those 3 days. When I had this boyfriend, he was a prosthodontist. So he was very busy working, and we would go out to dinner Thursday, Friday, Saturday with his friends. He belonged to a country club. And I don't know, I thought it was pretty ideal.
Yeah.
I think, but if you're working, let's say I was a lawyer and I had to work like 8 a.m. to 7 at night, I don't think you could have it all, because you're never going to see your kid. So I don't really understand how people do it, where they have to commute 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
I think also, like, sometimes people, like, I see some people who have 3 kids, and so for me, I'm very try to be very pragmatic. Like, I haven't bought a new car since 2018, because I'm like, I don't want to feel stressed about finances. I'm not going to just go have more kids and just hope it's all going to work out. I really try to plan things in a way that also I'm not going to stress myself, where sometimes I see people who they are doing too much, and I don't see how that works.
Yep. Smart.
Sorry, I don't know if that went in a lot of different directions.
No,
it's true.
And I really appreciate that you're shining a light on how important it is for a mom to be with their kids, because I think that we were shamed for a while,
Definitely.
to stay home. And it was like, you almost felt like, well, I'm not doing enough because I'm home raising my kids. No, that is the most wonderful, beautiful
Yeah.
thing that you can do, especially in this crazy world that we're living in now, to have a mom that's around.
Yeah, kids
and accessible.
need a parent around. I mean, it's the bottom line. On
Yes.
some level,
Yes.
they do, you know? So it's a fine balancing act.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
for all of us.
Well, it's funny that we're bringing this up because I think I don't know if it will go full swing, but there were some things in our culture that actually worked. For example, like when there were mother-daughter houses and everyone helped each other and they helped each other financially. So now you see on the West Coast, I don't know if you have this in New Jersey and New York, you didn't when I lived there, but in the West Coast, in Arizona and LA, there's a lot of ADUs or casitas, they call them. And there are a lot of these houses that people are putting in the back, which are encouraged by the government to create more housing because there's not enough housing and there's not enough affordable housing. And, but you'll probably start to see more people having their parents live in there. And I think some of these things that we had, like, yeah, the mom, like why I said to myself when I was pregnant and my husband wasn't willing to be a provider, there's more that could be said on that. I said to myself, why am I going to have kids if I'm not going to be with them and be a mom? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Why are you having them then? Again, this is my opinion, and I'm sorry if it offends people. And also, some people don't have a choice. But sometimes I think if you don't have a choice, then I don't know, move to Idaho, to a really cheap area. So you can do it. Like I'm doing these things in my own life, always like, if worst case scenario, I'd move to Santa Clarita, right? Like we're in LA, right? It's like the worst case scenario if I ended up there. But I always think about, well, what would I do in order to keep adjusting things if it wasn't working out? So
that's right.
I don't know.
It's perfect. You know, you have to adjust. You know, it ebbs and flows. You have to adjust to make it work. Exactly.
It's so important.
It is important. But you know what? I remember, when you said being up at midnight every night, just that passion there. I mean, I used to be up all night, in those first months and year, just like all night. I was so excited to answer every email and get back to everyone, you know? But there was a specific turning point when I realized this is going to be good. I can see this going in a way I never thought it was. Now, what was your point at the Modern Day Wife when you felt like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great?
As soon as I partnered with Meghan, I was 7 months pregnant, and I decided that if I decide something and I'm all in, right? So I knew that this was going to make it because I was going to make it that way. And I think Meghan also had very strong intentions as well to create it. And we had very, very different skills. We both had very high intention. We both had a very good work ethic. But she was really good at putting people in positions in the organization, whereas I'm more used to just managing a lot of people and telling them, as opposed to putting someone there who could manage those people. She was really good at setting up who was going to do what in the organization. She had all of like the sponsor deck and the flow line set up. I had more of the quantity and the horsepower and let's get the celebs and the influence and I don't even remember what my skill set was, but
it works.
I know more of hers because I see the things that she's done and everything else is a blur kind of, but I think from the very beginning, I knew it. And then there were points, we were making like no money for 2 years. So I also did have like 3 different jobs for 2 to 3 years. That's another thing that people don't realize too, right? Like even some people want to start with me and they're like, but I, even like a 21 or 22-year-old girl, but I have to I need to make a certain amount. And it's like tough.
Yeah.
Or this like the Italian side, the tough love. It's like, I had to work for 3 years, 3 jobs to have what I had now. You're going to have to work for it. Sorry. So, but I think from the beginning I knew, and now too, it's been 6 years and I'm ready to take it to the next level. And I'm very excited about it. Like at this exact moment that we're talking is I've started the next thing that I'm going to take this. So I'm very excited because just like you were saying, so last night I woke up at 4:00 and I'm like, this is ridiculous because I was so excited to get going. So I kind of have that reigniting of purpose right now. So I understand.
Oh my God, that's the best, right?
Best feeling. It's the best feeling.
I want the reignition of purpose. I'm ready.
And I feel that. Like I could feel your energy. And you feel when you're so passionate about something, right? It's like you live and breathe it. And you know that you're helping people, which kind of segues to the next question, because you're helping so many women. What do you see that women are struggling with behind closed doors still? I mean, you're bringing so many different women together, founders, CEOs, moms, all different women. But what do you think the struggles are that women are encountering these days?
I think that the biggest thing that we're all missing, whether you're a woman or a man or a child or an animal or whatever, is just more real in-person connection, more relationships, more friends, more family, more group, right? There's so much, especially in LA, and I really, really struggle with this. And this is why I just moved to Sherman Oaks, because I'm around more New Yorker type people now and I feel so much better. But there's such an isolation out here, or people just not thinking, coming from New York, it's very group oriented. So I had a big group of friends for 30 years, the same group. I had a million cousins. And so you always had this feeling of belonging and fun and people wanting you there and so on. And I think that a lot of that has gone away, of people doing things in person together. Even I'm not a texter. I'm not going to sit. I've lost friends over this. I'm not going to sit there and text you all day. I'm working. I don't know what other people are doing because they seem to be texting all day. It's unbelievable. Sure. Even if a guy, if I'm dating a guy and all he wants to do is text, it's I just know it's not going to work out.
Lord, no.
So it's
right. That's not happening. It's not working.
Or just sitting there with your friends, you see, totally. Or you see people at a diner. Well, there's no diners here, but restaurants where the whole family's on their phone.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the hardest thing is getting people back out there where they can actually look people in the eye and not be uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And have real life communication. That's also real communication. Yeah. You get this when you talk to people from a different generation. I was in Westlake last year in a neighborhood, and this older man came out who used to be an agent and a blah, blah, and so on. And I talk a lot. I couldn't get a word in.
Okay.
Because he had so much to say, and he's telling about this story and that story. And I'm like, wow, someone who has something to say. Wow, how amazing. So it's that too, people just who have something to say. Yeah. So I think that's a major thing right now.
Me too. Bring back the 90s.
Those
Bring back the 60s, in my opinion.
With the white shirts, the skinny jeans. I mean, I'm all about the 90s. Yes.
No more phones. Let's get back to basics. No proof of whatever you did. There's no proof. It was
exactly.
No scrolling. There's no scrolling.
Exactly.
I love that, actually. I've had so many situations in the beginning where when you're raising your kid and you're so sometimes insane, where I'm like, thank God I didn't get filmed.
Oh my God. I'd still be grounded right now if my mom saw any of anything.
And thank God our kids can't see what we were doing when we were teenagers and young.
I was I was perfect. They're like, right, whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's so funny. Okay, so let me bring us to our second to last question. Okay. Well, I feel like you kind of already answered that one.
We've been doing that.
I mean, you really answered
way ahead. You're way ahead of us.
I could talk more about the events if you want, since that is our main product.
That'd be great. Exactly. Perfect.
Okay, so people are probably like, well, what does this woman do?
Yeah, that's a typical event.
Yeah, so we produce events. That is the main thing we do. We have other programs. We have a podcast. We have a beauty box. We have a magazine.
I saw. Good, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll be launching our next magazine in the fall. So right now that's just in its, beginning stages, but who's going to be in it and so on. But we produce events for 6+ years in all the major cities. So New York, Dallas, Chicago, Los Angeles, Toronto, Vancouver, San Diego, and so on.
Okay.
We do these every 4 to 8 weeks. They are all pretty much the same size you saw in New York, like 500 to 1,000 plus people.
Wow.
They're influencer, consumer, media, and we produce these at luxury hotels. So they have shopping, brand experiences, speaking panels, celebrity panel, and fashion show.
Wow. Okay. That sounds great.
What a perfect mix.
I know.
Well, because if it's just booths and panels, for me, it's the fashion show brings art to the events.
Yeah.
100%.
Whenever we have our fashion show, I'm like, feel so proud that that's our company, because I felt like we did something artistic.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And I thought I read that you guys have hosted your LA events at Sofitel.
So this year will be our 4th year producing our Soirée en Blanc event.
Okay.
It's really Soirée en Blonde to be correct, but I still say Soirée en Blanc. Not going to pretend to be French. It's our 4th annual event at the Sofitel.
Such a beautiful venue.
It's gorgeous. They just finished a renovation. We'll be the first one to showcase the pool, actually, the brand new pool.
Okay.
This really is a massive event because we take over the whole hotel. So essentially, it's Friday, July 17th. There's 50, 75 tickets that you can get that are a rooftop lunch with photos on the helipad. That's like an exclusive moment. Everyone dresses in all white to this event. And then
we shot a cover there.
What's that?
You know, we shot a cover on the roof on the helipad. Yeah, isn't that so funny? We used to love working with Sofitel. They were the nicest group. Yeah, it was we shot Laura Prepon from Orange is the New Black.
Oh my, wait, we have a lot to talk about after this.
Okay, yeah, totally. It's so fun. I'll be at your next event.
Well, okay, so then so this is cool. The second floor, there's one ballroom with pop-ups, one ballroom with panels, and then the fashion show is in the Estero restaurant in the first floor.
Okay.
So this one is our biggest LA event. It's our first LA event since December. Like, we haven't done any yet this year, so it's going to be a big deal. Oh, wow. We have Los Angeles Magazine as our media partner at this one, and the Nocturnal and Gurus, actually. And we're planning it now.
Okay. Yay. You know, so Derek Warburton, I think, runs Gurus, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
This is so funny. I can't believe this.
I know. It's such a small world. Small world. Oh, that'll be so fun. That'll be fun.
Yeah, and then the tour this year. So we did New York and Chicago already. Next week, we're doing Silicon Valley. Miami at the W is May 16th for Miami Swim Week. Then Sofitel. Then the W Dallas for What She Said on September 16th. What She Said at W Scottsdale for our 5th event with them on November 20th. And then December 3rd is a What She Said gifting suite at the WLA.
Oh,
so
that'll
that's
be
our
nice.
calendar.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
so we're looking for
try to get
brands
to one of those
and speakers.
Events,
oh my gosh, they're amazing. And like you said, it's such a great experience. The event was such a great experience because you had so many different things going on simultaneously. Because some of these events that you go to, let's be honest, it's like you go in and you're like, okay, is it time to go? Like, it was
and these are like events, top level.
Right.
Events,
it was fantastic. And just the camaraderie between the women was so wonderful. Everyone loved being there, truly. So
I really appreciate it. You know what I was just thinking? I haven't really thought about this, and I don't even know if this is true or not, but growing up on Long Island, when I was in 7th grade, I had a bar and bat mitzvah 2 to 3 every weekend for a year, right? So I went to probably, 150 in 1 year. And the bar and bat mitzvahs on Long Island, as I'm sure you know, are over the top. Yeah. So much going on. So when you just said there's so much going on and you want to stay, I was like, yeah, when we went to those parties, you wanted to stay because not only was it dancing and food, but there was like the wax thing where you put your hand in, the, like, metal thing that would make hat make, like, they would have all this stuff. There was this company, it still exists, Great Neck Games, that would have all of these different things. And in New York, we had the stilt walker, we had these things, and you brought back, I was like, oh wow, that's an interesting thing. We could probably bring in those elements of those fun activities at some point.
Absolutely. there's like so many things. And you know what? Even better, my youngest is going to college on the West Coast in Malibu at Pepperdine. So I'll be out there. Maybe one day we can meet for lunch.
Oh, 100 trillion%. I would love that.
That'd be so fun. Me too. Yeah.
Wow.
There's
Staten
so many
Island to
West Coast
Pepperdine. That's a different planet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not a typical Staten Island mother. I was like, pack your shit. You're out of here. And you're not coming back. Okay.
Oh my
I'll
God.
go to you. I'll go to you. Yeah. So it's exciting. So we'll see.
Amazing.
Yeah. So thank you so much. It was really such a pleasure talking to you today.
Love your story.
Yeah.
Love how real and authentic you are too, because you're just like a true. It's like, this is me. This is my story, and it's I appreciate it.
That's right.
Thank
like
you.
the authenticity is refreshing.
So one more thing, Meghan, how can our listeners sign up for your next event?
Okay, so they could first of all follow us on Instagram, The Modern Day Wife. And the link in bio always has our next event ticket links in there. Soiree and Blanc's ticket page will probably be up in 2 weeks because I'm still waiting for our creative director to send me our mood board and color scheme and so on. But and then once I approve that, she creates the invite. But the tickets are always on themodernDayWife.com.
Okay.
So that's very easy. So the ones that we are selling now are the W Miami. That one's What She Said Too, Saturday, May 16th.
To go to
Yeah.
And also if anyone wants to sponsor, we're definitely booking fashion show sponsors, panels, pop-ups, all the things.
Okay.
And yeah.
I mean, I used to work with a lot of sponsors. So, if you're looking for like a specific like alcohol or something, let me know. I'll connect you guys.
I already was going to talk to you about that.
All right. Yeah, let me know.
She's the one.
Let
She
me
is
know.
the guru.
Well, you
She
know
knows.
what? Some of our sponsors are like, when are you coming back, Courtney? I'm like, guys, it's been 6 years. Move on. You know?
They miss you. They know that you're the one.
No, they're nice.
You're the one to go to.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'll help you any way I can.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Loved meeting you.
Love meeting you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Have
you.
a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Sounds good.